So the Accross app actually gives you caddy advice. It puts in your distances with irons, your driver, certain clubs. It knows what you hit, and it suggests how to play a hole. It gives you the line you should play. Just play it conservatively. And it goes hole by hole. It takes into account things like wind as well. So it's reading outside influences in the environment, based on GPS information, weather stations, things like that. And gives you a suggestion for a club. Also gives you alternatives. So I could hit a driver. And it says if you hit a driver, go 240 or more. And then go to the green. Or you hit the 5-iron, which is a safer play. Hit it to the wide part of the fairway. And then get as few strokes as you can. Okay, so here you can see it's giving you the optimal strategies, for how to play the hole. But it gives you options too, So you could lay back a little bit and just go with an 8-iron, or you could go 5-iron, and you could take the driver. It's always saying about 240 for the driver, 240, 250. So that's how you play the holes. Gives you all the strategies, gives you the best line to play. It's just very valuable information as to how to approach the hole to maximize your scores. I do listen to this. I make options. When I'm up on the tee, I look at it and I said, okay, what's it suggesting? How should I hit it? Do I want to go deeper into the green? I could change up my iron if I want. Or I could just take the pitching wedge and swing harder. Since I know that my normal's 133, I'm going to go to the front. But I can juice that up to 150, Or I could hit a really easy 7-iron to the front of the green and roll it in. You decide based on this. It's what alternative strategies is what it's giving you. But the caddy will ask, he'll say, okay, do you want to do this? And then you can make a choice. I say, no, I'm hitting my driver great today. I don't want to do that. I'm going to put it down here and get as close to the hole as I can and just hit the pitching wedge. You have to understand, how am I going to maximize my score? What am I good at? So if you're driving the ball well, put it down with the driver. But here you risk, if you go anything over the 240, you risk going into the water on the right. So maybe you're better off hitting a 5-iron and just going with an 8-iron. It's about choices. It's about using the 4 inches between your ears to make decisions. And this just helps you to think a little differently. So, you can go with a driver in this hole number 6. So go with the driver and then go with the green. It's a par 5. Go to score if you want. There's all sorts of ways of doing it. You can say, okay, I don't want to do that. I'm going to hit the 5-iron 220 and 200 even, and then decide to lay up on the next hole, get in the right positions to go at the hole with a wedge. So it gives you different alternatives and how to approach the hole. It's very valuable. See, it's not all about distance, how far you hit. Not at all. It's about what are my best options, to maximize my score. Actually lower my score as low as I can get. I want birdie chances. I want to hit greens in regulation. And that's what the goal is, just to keep doing that. and a flag is buried over on the left on this hole, I can take an 8-iron, as I did today, and I hit that 8-iron 165 and put it to the back left corner, for a birdie. So there's options. I don't have to necessarily do that. A couple days before, I hit a 7-iron in there. Wind in my face. I lobbed a 7-iron back to the middle and just 2-putted for par. It's just, what are the conditions that day? What are you feeling? You could hit, straightest. Control the ball. Always control the ball. 6-iron, I personally wouldn't do to back there, because now you're risking hitting it over the green. At least I am. My 6-iron goes 180, so I wouldn't be trying to do that. So my choices would always be the 8-iron and the 7-iron. So know your game. Know how best to use strategy. Hit to the widest part of the fairway. Hit the fairways. Driver doesn't have to be 240. My 3-wood, my 5-wood, 240 is about where I put them. 240 to fly a driver for most people is a long hit. You might get extra roll. You could try driving, green like this if you had wind and other things, but it's 340 yards. That's from the middle tees. That's from the whites. If you're back, what are you gaining really? Are you best at 150? I'm best at 130. Take a look at that and make your decision on the tee. What you do on the, tee is just super important. This is always a difficult hole for people because they drive it through the fairway and everything slants in this hole down into the water on the left. You got water on the right. You've got some sand areas, at the end of the water on the right. So you could try and drive a ball over the lake on the right. But, where are you going to end up? One bounce, you make the 270 to cover it, one bounce, and it's into the fairway and then rolls into the pond on the left. So it doesn't make any sense. It's, what's the point of driving a ball and risking all that down into a narrow neck, so that you can hit a lob wedge? It doesn't, so what I normally do is just hit a 6-iron, the 180, go to a fat part of the, fairway here, and just hit a pitching wedge onto the green. Maybe I get a birdie, maybe I get a par. You have to think, start using strategies. We're always talking swing, but it's not all about swing. It's about, how can I control a ball? How can I best get it in positions to score?